Good morning, viewers, and welcome to Inside Nigeria. It's a program we discuss, we review, and discuss some headline stories of some select newspapers. My name is Winifred Ugbebo. Welcome to the midweek edition of the program. Unfortunately, I don't have my midweek guest here now today, but we have in his replacement another guest that has been very consistent. Is Olamileko Adefolari. Happy New Year. I'm seeing you for the first time.
Yes, so Happy New Year.
How was the holiday season?
Thank God we have to go through it. It was okay. At least enjoyable.
Yeah, welcome once again to the program. Well, viewers, my name is Winifred Ugbebo, and I'm your guest on the program. We are going to be starting off as usual with Nigeria's most influential newspaper, Leadership. What is Leadership leading with on its cover? Let's go there. Leadership. Leadership says 45 days ago, federal government dismisses threats to 2023 elections. 45 days to go, federal government dismisses threats to 2023 elections. Says there is no cause for alarms. Elections we hold as planned. Afenifere warns against postponement cancellation. AGF asks governors to join fight against insecurity. I'll take that leading story once again. 45 days to go, federal government dismisses threats to 2023 elections. Says there's no cause for alarms. Elections we hold as planned. Afenifere warns against postponement cancellation. AGF asks governors to join fight against insecurity. Another paper that has same leading story with Leadership newspaper is Vanguard. Let's see what Vanguard catches story. It says, fear not, elections we hold, federal government. Fear not, elections we hold, federal government. INEC clarifies issues to present voters registered to parties today. Seeks commitment of all stakeholders to peaceful polls. Promises legacy of free, fair, credible elections. INEC's alarm irresponsible reps. We mustn't give in to anti-democratic forces, Labour Party. Insecurity not enough reason to postpone polls, APC, PCC. INEC shouldn't give APC opportunity to continue to punish Nigerians, PDP. Pandef Afenifere others speak. I'll take the leading story once again on Vanguard newspaper. Fear not, elections we hold, federal government. INEC clarifies issues to present voters registered to parties today. Says commitment of all stakeholders to peaceful polls. Promises legacy of free, fair, credible elections. INEC's alarm irresponsible reps. We mustn't give in to anti-democratic forces, Labour Party. Insecurity not enough reason to postpone polls, APC, PCC. INEC shouldn't give APC opportunity to continue to punish Nigerians, PDP. Pandef Afenifere others speak. That is the leading story on Vanguard, and of course, Nigeria's most influential newspaper, Leadership, also has leading story on that. Adefolari, but we saw similar situation in 2015 polls that the banditry was actually at its peak during that period. Bombings here and there, northeast, there was so much high level of insecurity, but elections did take place.
Exactly. You know, when I got this news, I was like, these are the normal trend normally when election want to take place, especially general election. And I went back as far as 1999, when the election was to be conducted before the Obasanjo came to power. There was the fear that, okay, they will to not allow the election to take place. Election went through. In 2003, the election is going to be violent. PDP want to hold on to power. The election came through. 2007, that was the most violent period of electoral processes in Nigeria. The election came to pass. In 2011, then 2015 was even more hype to the point that it was actually postponed. 2019, it wasn't postponed, but at least there was enough room to cater for the threat that was available. I think what INEC was trying to say, because that statement of a threat to the election came through from the INEC office, and more or less like the pre-election security situation is what they examined. And they have found out that they have been on the receiving end. Most of their offices have been attacked. Their staff has been attacked. They have even lost some of their...
Especially in the southeast, especially and some in the
southwest. So they have lost some of their staff. So they look at those aspects and projected that these are the things that we discovered that will affect the election. Although from the view of the general view of majority of Nigerian intellectual, they see it as, okay, beyond just attacking INEC, we have banditry, we have kidnapping, we still have terrorism groups still impacting on us. So this could be an indicator that the election could be impacted negatively. And everybody was like, what should we do? And for me, when I heard this, I was like, this won't stop the election to vote. Because from the presidential and from the president angle, he has made up his mind to conduct the election. And again, we must try as much as possible to avoid any constitutional breach of not conducting the election at the right time and at the right place. You get it? So that's why I say that the election will hold for me, and the security issues will be taken care of, as well as the federal government can really put their foot on ground. And as they have said in the news, that nobody should be afraid the election will hold. So I want to take that word from them.
Okay, but we want to find out really how ready is INEC or federal government to conduct a free and fair polls, because it's not just about rhetoric. So we are going to conduct free, fair election, because there has been so many groups raising alarm over plans to undermine
the election. And the undermining of the election is not about including selfish individuals.
Yes, that's
we have groups, we have selfish individuals. You have corporate people that want to make it that let it not work. Because if for me as a political economist, as well as someone that is taking on development with the research of Nigeria from politics and economy, it could be a favor for certain individuals that if the election doesn't hold, forming the government of national unity will be to their benefit.
Yes.
Let us have a government of national unity that all stakeholders, all individuals who have been agitated to be president of the days can now be part and parcel of the government of the day. And that will favor them one way or other, because all they are all looking for is how to make sure that they have access to our national wealth. But we don't want to pray that should happen. We let us have a government that we know that we can give account to us. Because if we have a government of national unity, they will be able to give account, because all of them will be coming from diverse backgrounds, and they can do anything that they like, because there's nobody to checkmate any of them. So from the INEC angle, INEC is ready. But the problem they normally have is logistic. Logistic in terms of people who are going to work with them and people who are going to work for them. And the INEC may have more control over their own personal staff, permanent staff. But the ad hoc staff, how much of control do they have? The National Union of Road Transportation, how much of control do they have? The Nigerian Air Force Authority that are going to work with them by helping them to uplift. How much of authority do they have over those kind of people? And again, the places where election will be conducted, INEC doesn't have control over them.
Yes.
So the INEC on their part, they may be ready, but the external aspect of it is where they may have issue. And that's why it is the external aspect that giving reason why there may be challenges in the election, which is insecurity. You understand? On their own part, they are ready. And again, on the part of INEC, I believe that the server, the transmission of results, everything are ready. I just hope that the people are going to help them to manage the web admin, whatever will be people who they know that trust. Not just trust, people that they know that from pin to down, they know everything about them. And there are people that they cannot give any of their password or whatever they're going to use, because the server is going to be working through password. And I want to believe they're going to use technicality in understand that the password will not be given to one person. It can be distributed the way the banking sector does their own thing. You can have A, the other person can have D. And they will never know each other. And that's what I expect from INEC.
Okay. So, but there's been outcry, especially coming also from APC national chairman Adamu, that over the electronic transmission of results, and he raised some fees that most places don't have network. So, as INEC, obviously many people read it that many people really want to subvert the use of electronic transmission of results during the debate. So, what do you say to that?
I don't think that will happen. And people should not be afraid of.
INEC has been saying that there's no going back on that.
That one is strictly there's no going back. And the thing is that transmission of result is in two ways. They have the manual and they have the electronic transmission. So even if a particular community doesn't have the means of transmitting through electric, the beavers snap. It doesn't just record, it also snap. And when it snap, it's sent. Okay. And the way INEC have done their arrangement is that the network provider are giving them first-class services. They are working with Nigerian Communication Commission. They are working with Galaxy Backbone. They are working with several government agencies that are into that internet facility, including National Satellite Agencies of the country. So they are working strictly with people that can provide them all the backing. Then the other aspect, there is manual record of results, and if it is tampered with, definitely at the tribunal it will be revealed. I remember 2015 when it was tampered with. Somebody, one of the presiding officers, tampered with the result, and it was being painted. And you know what happened to such result? They will not take it, and it is even there. Once result is tampered with, that we are coloring, we are painting into crossing it, that means that result is not valid. So the people should not be afraid of transmission of the result, or the record of the result, or the presentation of the result at the end of the day.
Thank you so much. Now, President Muhammad Buhari, has said on several fora that he was going to leave a free and fair, credible elections behind. Should we hold Mr. President to his word?
Definitely, you won't want to do something that will spoil, even though he has not achieved much of what he is expected to achieve in his administration on his government for the last 7.5 years. But he knows that this one will become something that even internationally will be recognized, just the way Jonathan is being recognized now.
However, some people do hold some doubts concerning the fact that it was the only sign appended just 24 hours to go to the second electoral bill that was sent to him. You know, the first one he didn't sign.
Exactly.
It elapsed. It elapsed. Then the second one was almost nearing
the end, exactly,
before, acceding to people's cries and demands. With the proviso that they removed that contentious.
That contentious.
However,
clause.
that's where I'm going to. Now, given that scenario, so how now do you hold present that, really, committed to leaving a legacy of a free, fair, and credible election?
The contention clause was existing before it was put in the Electoral Act. That means everybody at the party level, including members of the cabinet,
public service should not participate.
Exactly.
That public service. Issue of public service.
So they can all participate at the party level in terms of their voting.
No, that they should not take part in the election. They have to resign.
But before now they do that.
Yes.
There are many people who have government appointment. They will also participate. But later, if they win, they resign. If they lose, they go back to their.
And strangely enough, it came to pass because at the end of the day, the court did not rule.
But the issue is that for me, I think the president wants to leave a legacy in the sense that it can be recognized internationally. It can also be given the opportunity to lead ECOWAS, AU, electoral observer across Africa and beyond. So he will want that legacy to be known, and also to write his name in gold. That at least when he was finally leaving, he did a peaceful, credible election. Not just peaceful, credible, but transparent election that bringing a new government that he can also beat his chest that after I conducted an election that is not faulty. That is on the one. But the other aspect is this. He may be someone that may not have achieved much of developmental goals that he desire, but this particular election has been something that he wants to ensure that come to pass based on his own history. That in 2015 he came in through that same processes. In 2019, even though it was challenged at the court, but he still end up. So he won't be able to do something that will damage his integrity and his personality at the end of the day, because 10 years from now, people will still be referring to his government that, when he was leaving, he conducted a free and credible election. That will be a credit to his name. But for me, it is not just conducting free and credible election, but ensuring that the developmental goals that you have set is a continuum. Because I don't want a government that will come in tomorrow and everything that I've set up, different policy that this current government have put in place, that we know that they cannot quickly yield results for us, they should be continued. Like recently, before he passed the 2023 budget, there was a policy they put in place called security, economy, and anti-corruption. Which next government will take up from there? Because I know there are less than 5 months to go. So how much of that implementation will they do?
However, the security issue has become a campaign mantra since 2015, and unfortunately, nothing concrete has been done about it. It's just like leadership said, how many days to go, and security is still an issue. Like the APC presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu raised too.
It will be one of the biggest tasks for the next president of Nigeria. Security, number one. And how that person is going to tackle it will be far, far different from what others predecessors before him have been putting in place. Because as we normally say in our local parlance, that the best way to tackle security is to tackle it from not just the bottom, but from the top. Because the issue why security remains a challenge in Nigeria, because we are still looking at it from the bottom aspect of it. Okay, it is the community, it is the people. What about the elite? What are they not contributing to that insecurity challenge in those areas?
Yes.
So that's just my own concern about it.
All right, thank you so much for your views on that. From leader, it's still on leadership newspaper. We have a leadership conference and awards coming up on the 31st of this month, and it says Leadership Award recognition of Afrism Bank's impact on Nigeria, Africa, Urama. You know, Afrism Bank is also one of the awardees of leadership, and the 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 president of the bank has described the award given to him by management of leadership as a recognition of the impact the bank is making on Nigeria and Africa. You have anything
Exactly.
to say?
Yes, as
About
I'm an economist,
awards.
apart from talking about the award, so look at it. No, ADB, African Development Bank, is doing a lot in Africa. So African Export Bank is also doing a lot in terms of encouraging export, either within the African region or outside the African region. So they are also doing. And I want to commend a leadership newspaper. They have been for a very long time. They have been able to sustain this kind of reward and recognition for people who have done a lot for the Nigerian society and beyond.
Okay. The award is coming up on the 31st of this month, Tuesday. Yes, from leadership, let's see what other papers are saying. Let's see, go to Punch, the Punch newspaper. The Punch says, last lap, Tinubu campaign moves alliance with smaller parties. Last lap, Tinubu campaign moves alliance with smaller parties. It's on the Punch newspaper. Let's have the Punch newspaper on the screen. The writers say APC looking beyond PDP, NNPP, LP, reaching out to parties to adopt Tinubu. Let's have the Punch newspaper on our screen. Yes, the Punch newspaper. Last lap, Tinubu campaign moves alliance with smaller parties. APC looking beyond PDP, NNPP, LP, reaching out to parties to adopt Tinubu. PCC member Senator Akambi. No negotiation yet. We won't step down for ex-Lagos governor, Accord Party presidential candidate. I'll take the leading story once again. Last lap, Tinubu campaign moves alliance with smaller parties. APC looking beyond PDP, NNPP, LP, reaching out to parties to adopt Tinubu. PCC member Senator Akambi. No negotiation yet. We won't step down for ex-Lagos governor, Accord Party presidential candidate. How are you saying this?
I think one of the best.
The ruling party is a bit surprising, isn't it? That the ruling party, of course, the party to beat in these forthcoming elections, you know, is actually looking to out to other smaller parties to adopt Tinubu.
That is one of the best strategies for any political party that is serious to win the election.
But it's the biggest party for now.
Biggest, but they are looking for much
Like the party in power.
They don't want to rely on the power of incumbency to win the election. What they are doing is they are strategically putting out all their tentacles, anything they can catch into their domain. After all, the Sovereign Party and the NRC or whatever the other party are already from alliance with themselves. So the ADP, I forgot the name of the party, are already for alliance with another party. So for me, it's a strategy that can help APC to also galvanize, even though they may not, those parties may be smaller in their group, but they may have influence in certain areas, in certain voting areas that they can also capture. I know one thing about election is it's about the number.
Well, do you think that this one is coming as a result of these beavers, use of beavers and electronic transmission of results? Because we've never seen a situation whereby the ruling party in power and, of course, the party to beat in the forthcoming elections is actually reaching out to for alliance with smaller parties. It's strange and it's surprising.
It's strange and it's surprising, but it is politically correct on the side of politicians who is interested in the vote. He is not looking, okay, I'm big, but so if I'm big, I should just let go of the smaller. Because the smaller ones, the little 10 votes, 20 votes they will be getting. You'll be surprised some of them if they are allowed to float. Some of them will get up to 1,000 votes at the end of the day in the entire nation. So by the time they get the 20,000 votes, 10,000 votes, 15,000 votes, and they are ready to give that vote to APC at this point in time, it will add up. So it is the number of votes that APC is looking for. And it's very strategic. Strategic in the sense that some of these parties, we don't even have the wherewithal to campaign across the country. And some of them are so localized in some states, in some community, that APC can now use that opportunity to capture those particular areas and say, okay, this vote that is coming from this place, we are taking it. The vote that is coming from this corner, we are taking. That's what they are trying to do, and it's very strategic. Other parties may also learn from it, because as I said earlier, so already that is contesting for presidency has already alliance with one particular party is very, very strong in Kaduna, very strong in Kaduna, and they have vote there too. So that's what they are doing. And now, although some of their presidential candidates may not want to step down, but at the end of the day, if the negotiation is very strong and going to help the party to get something very good for them, they will just pay off and allow it to float. But it's very strategic.
Very strategic. And the Akko party presidential candidate said, no negotiation yet. We won't step down for as Lagos governor. It's talking tough.
Because Accord is very strong in Oyo State. That state they are very, very strong now. And you know they have been able to produce
just
one
out
like
of Abga is also strong in
Anambra. So Accord presidential candidate may not want to step down. But if the party is okay, we don't want you again. You will go to court. And what you have spent, what you have ever spent, they are ready to give us so that you can go back home and rest. And maybe a juicy appointment is coming. We're going to make you chairman of a particular board because that is what is going to happen. What they may give this, most of these smaller parties, we are going to give you certain agencies as chairman of board, directors of board. You recover whatever you have spent, and that is very strategic to me. And any politicians that are thinking about the vote, this is what they will do.
You know what you just said also gives credence to the fact that while corruption continues to thrive, you said they give you position to recover your loot. So giving oppositions or occupying positions now is an opportunity and avenue for you.
It's not just opposition, including the party members that are. I said it on this platform that a party that has about 1,000
to be part of presidential
campaign council. What are they? It is that list when they win the election. It is that list the president will pick with his staff, the chief of staff, and begin to look. Okay, these people from this particular zone. Let us give them this. That's how they will do it to the list of them all. Why did you think that when Buhari refused to inaugurate certain government agencies and board, they begin to cry out? Before you know it, by the time you begin to inaugurate them, everybody knew, okay, quiet. And that's when they recover. To become a board member director or board director, do you know if they go for a retreat, some of them they even build house for them, they buy jeep for them, they send them on retreat and holidays. And that's what is made. That's why sometimes some of us are saying we don't even need this board of directors. We need to scrap it. We don't need it. It is costing us a lot. The requirement that we are experiencing in the budget is as a result of these wastages and inefficient funding.
There's need to actually stem these wastages in our government. Still on the point newspaper, we have a story before we go on a break. We have a story on the same point. Blackout as 16 die in California flooding. Of course, you can see pictures of floods, flooding on the cover of the point newspaper. Some houses being submerged and all whatnot. What are we having? And just like last year to every March, April, we also have similar scenario.
Exactly. So that means to tell you that flooding is not.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
It's not in Nigeria.
It's not in Nigerian thing. And mostly it's about two things. One, nature and human activities.
So in other words, this climate change is real.
It's real, but at the same time, majority of the issues about, especially for flooding, is as a result of human activities. You have most of us are blocked, like this one that we are watching now from California. You can see where is the pathway for the water.
Yes,
it's not. We can't even see.
It's actually blocked. The one would have expected that California, US, that is actually developed economies, will not have
this kind of thing. But the problem, they have more of underground drainages. Maybe that underground drainage has been blocked and they have not taken time to check it, or maybe the waterway also have been taken over by human development or urbanization or housing. So there's no way the water could flow through where it's supposed to flow through. But I just hope that to be able to find succor and get
16 die.
That's one thing about flooding. It can come and life will be lost. Not just property being lost, but including life. Here in Nigeria, I think
don't say about 60 something.
60, exactly. More than that, because there are some that are not accounted for. So that
it's really, really sad. Well, viewers, we are going on a break. When we come back, we are going to be looking at other papers we have on our menu. Please don't go away. Stay tuned.
sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Inside Nigeria, keeping you informed on what matters.
Welcome back. This is Inside Nigeria on Leadership Television, where we discuss front page news stories and review. My name is Winifred Ugwebo. It's my pleasure to host you on today's program, midweek edition. And in the studio is a public affairs analyst, is also a political scientist, Olamileko Adefolare.
Thanks for having me.
once again.
Thank you.
Now we are looking at another paper we have on our menu, and that is THISDAY. THISDAY newspaper say THISDAY, Buhari, I can't be blackmailed over illicit enrichment, inexplicable wealth. Buhari, I can't be blackmailed over illicit enrichment, inexplicable wealth. Says he has no investment property outside Nigeria. Insists he has fulfilled his promise to tackle Boko Haram. Vows to safeguard country till last day in office. Promises to remain in Nigeria after May. We are not a rubber-stamped National Assembly, Lawan insists. I'll take the leading story on THISDAY once again. Buhari, I can't be blackmailed over illicit enrichment, inexplicable wealth. Says he has no investment property outside Nigeria. Insists he has fulfilled his promise to tackle Boko Haram. Vows to safeguard country till last day in office. Promises to remain in Nigeria after May. We are not a rubber stamp National Assembly. Senate President Lawan insists. It's actually a story that made runs on some papers too, just like a leadership also carried it. Nobody can blackmail me over illicit wealth. And the same thing on Blueprint. Blueprint says, I'm an orphan. Education got me enlisted into the army. So what do you have to say about this? Just a few months to go. And Buhari is already sounding the warning that nobody should blackmail him. And in Vanguard, he says, I've fulfilled my promise on Boko Haram.
I think from that, I'll take it from that Vanguard aspect. He has done his best, but the best may not be enough.
Good enough. As
to
my late
end,
chairman will say.
exactly, to end all aspects of Boko Haram and ISWAP activities and banditry and kidnapping in Nigeria. But he has done his own personal best. Then on the issue of wealth, we are all seeing that for now, there's no evidence to point that maybe he has a house in London or Dubai or US or UK or whatever. Maybe his children may have, or his wife may have.
But don't forget that when the leaders are in power, you really cannot trace where to them until they leave.
Definitely. Okay, that's why I'm saying that.
See the late head of state, Sani Abacha, after how many years?
Yes.
More than 28 or what? How many years now?
We are still refunding, getting UK refund, the Abacha loot refund.
Exactly.
So for me, what I'm trying to point out is this. For now, we don't have any evidence that he has such wealth outside Nigeria. And maybe it could be in the name of his family members that we have not yet discovered. But as rightly pointed out, after he must have left office in May 29, revelation will start coming. That, okay, he bought this in the name of this person.
Exactly.
He get this in the name of this person as a prosy. He put this here, So as they normally say in US and UK that blind trust funding or blind trust investment across what he may have it. But for now, he has personally said he doesn't have such wealth. And nobody should come and blackmail him on that. And why he's saying it is that majority believe that once he's out of office, there may be opportunity to prosecute either him or people who serve with him in government.
Because actually, reports of those that have really siphoned wealth under his government has been,
It's enormous. We can even see it. How could someone just serve after some period, then he can afford 100 million to go and buy?
Exactly.
From
And they were not queried. They were not. EFCC did not do anything.
They are waiting for them after they have finally leave office. And those ones that have left office, it is after they must have taken all of them on a long stretch. That's why most of them, their names will be revealed one after the other. The issue is this: majority of people that are found themselves in government circle are serving as ministers, SA. Just check their life after 1 or 2 years. You see the kind of someone that you know that is living in a particular environment. He will move from that environment. You discover that has started living in a particular environment. I was so shocked recently.
High class.
I was so shocked recently that a particular local government chairman in Asara State has left his community that that's where they gave back to him. That's why he went to primary, secondary, to second university, finished. Now, as a chairman, just in second term, he has bought a house in Abuja. And he has left that place. He only come there maybe twice or once in a week to go. And I was like, where did he get the money? Because I know to stay inside high brand area in Abuja is very, very expensive. And he's not going to stay in Yanya. He's not going to stay in Jikwe, or he's staying inside Abuja.
And it's situation too, apart from him, to so many. A situation whereby Nigeria has about 77 trillion naira loans that is even leaving to his successor. And then they will have the Accountant General of the Federation who stole money, embezzled money,
and he's there, and he's using closely leaders in his community to go and beg.
What is most annoying is the fact that worrisome too is that they say he has a plea bargain with EFCC.
He doesn't. EFCC have said the plea bargain, according to that, the plea bargain is for them to be able to collect all those things. That he will still face the wrath of the law. But the challenge with the wrath of the law, the court process of prosecution in Nigeria, by the time this man will go through the law now, or go through the case now, maybe they will give him a partly 3 years. Then by the 3 years, he will not even serve it, because they will now go back and begin to read all the other period that has been put in Kuje as part of the sentences. Then partly, just like
you say that is the law a problem now.
The law is the problem now, because if it is a poor man or a wretched civil servant
that's still a good,
he will go through 30-40 years.
Yes.
But if it is a rich man like the former AGL, now the lawyer is going to hire, or have already understood the technicality that is going to use, maybe 2, 3, 4 of them that are going to charge him not less than 100 million each, and he will pay them. You see what, and it's from the loot, he will still going to pay them. And they have understood that if we go through this way, we'll get it. So the plea banking is from IFC, so that the man will not quickly give out those money, so they let us recover it first. Then whatever that is left, the man will. But the thing is, at the end of the day, he will not go through the main sentences that he's supposed to go through, like a former would have done.
Last year, just before the year 2022 winded down, Buhari did say that he has done his best, and that got a lot of flags from social-cultural organizations like PANDEF, Afenifere, MBM, that no, you didn't do your best. And what was your opinion that no, it could have actually have done the best? Maybe obviously the best, as my late chairman will always say, did not translate to good dividends.
Exactly.
Now, on the issue of Boko Haram, I want to speak to that.
On the issue of Boko Haram, we know that
that was what he said, that he has fulfilled his promise to tackle Boko Haram. That is the second right down there.
But the issue is that we know that the excesses of Boko Haram is not as where it was before. Their excesses have really gone down.
But we're having so many insurgencies in the bandits or terrorists, as you call them.
Exactly. Northwest that is happening. But the issue is that in Boko Haram, as most reports have had, they have now translated and transformed into another set of minor, smaller ISWAP, smaller groups. ISWAP is still there in the northeast.
That's right, in Niger. You know, the Niger state government did raise alarm, or some of them that they are taking over some communities.
They are still there.
And some communities are even paying taxes or levies.
It's still happening. But from the perspective of the president, at least when it was so hot, I came in and have doused it. Even though it is still a little bit still oil, we can still be feeling the heat, but not like
the banditry took over.
That's why I say they transform and they change their activities into something a little bit too more, also dangerous, but not as the ones of the Boko Haram where we're seeing bombing here, bombing there, or a particular sporadic attack on a military formation. But they are still doing it softly against police formation and NSC. I think there's a report that in a mining community, there are 7 NSCDC officials were killed by bandits in Kaduna. So they are still doing those activities.
Yes, they are still doing that. They are still carrying out, and this time around, obviously, as if they are carrying their activities on reply.
On reply, in the sense that because they were working in
remote. Daybreak is still on my mind.
Very well.
And our paper leadership reported last week that 19, just how many days to go? 19, with December deadline that was given to
the military and the security agencies.
That 19 terrorists are still at large.
Definitely, they are still working on how to get them. But we just hope that before the
And
election
among them
proper,
is, of course, the dreaded one.
that although they say they
What is his
keep
name?
the
Sokoto something.
something Sokoto, and the other one that
Mm,
Badra, the one they give
yeah.
title,
And
that one
the
has not
one,
been caught.
Tuji Bello.
Tuji
That
Bello,
one is Tuji Bello.
So we just hope that before the election proper, this set of people will not constitute nuisance or threat to the election, because they could be also be part of. Well, I remember in 2015 election,
No,
in
so
2019
even though
election,
Boko Haram, I'm sorry, I'm still trying to keep you on track. It's
Uh-huh.
not as deadly. Would you say that he has done a lot fairly okay in security issues? Because security has become a major problem here.
it has become a major project that even impacted our economy, that have brought us to
Yes,
the level
farmers
that
could
we are.
not go to their farms.
Exactly, and even logistic to even transform. I mean, logistic to transport farm product down to the south or to the north is a challenge. But
You saw
on
what happened in Edo State.
the train attack,
yes.
although that one is still revealing, we still want to know the identity of the people that carried out that act. Government need to discover it. And again, as the NRC is saying that the security around the railway station is not yet incomplete. We just hope they can work on that. But for the Buhari aspect in terms of tackling Boko Haram, they have spent so much on military hardware and software to tackle Boko Haram. Nobody, in the credit of spending money, he has done so much in terms of giving them all the leverages of spending. But what Nigerians are now asking, that even though we have spent so much in trillions for the military, for the security aspect, much of the result is not yet what we are expecting. Exactly, the success is not yet 100%. And if you ask for scorecard now or score or mark for him, nobody will give him beyond 20.
Many also are also of the opinion that he left the fighting of security a bit too late. Remember, they came out masquerading as a Fulani herdsmen, alleged Fulani herdsmen, and he was telling the Governor Autumn of Benue State that they should learn to live, accommodate their neighbors. And at the end of the day, it was what metamorphosed and gave rise to this banditry. And of course, he was trying to, manage the situation.
The ethnic coloration of it all that made it to be so.
So what have we? So it has blossomed, and Southwest has become also worse for it. You see that bandits come out from the bush and shoot at person. We've been seeing reports of that.
Exactly. Although the one on the Benue State have a dimension of both.
I remember when Amoteku was also set up, and he, through the spokesman, Gabashew, said they have no right to ban them from the forest. That everybody can walk wherever they want to. I mean,
the one of the Amatekun was that because of the Southwest state, we are not too cooperative to ensure that this stand, even though they have their state assembly to pass it to law. What they have done to have a cooperative standard, they establish it at the same time, not aligning this one will do his own, this one will do his own. That's why I say that in your state now, Amoteku is not strong. But in Ondo, in Ekiti, is strong. In Ogun State, is not that strong. In Lagos, there is not even much of that because rather they are using the national police for their security. So you can see how that one has brought that mismanagement of Amoteku. How did the 6 Southwest states come together, and after that their meeting, they were able to stand once and announce and bring it to pass. It would not be that kind of problem. Even the letter they wrote to the NSA to allow them to have AK-47, it would have been very easy for them. But because they didn't come together to united to get it, and that's why they're having that. Then on the one of the Benue State, it's also a little bit complex in the sense that we all understand the militias from the chief side of the state who are also fighting for land, not just with Fulani people, but among themselves. For most people that have been able to understand that particular issue, understand even in the part of Benue, in the Benue West or the Benue East, down to the Doma side, they also having issues with land, fighting among themselves, community fighting themselves for land. Also complicated the issue of whether it is ethnic coloration of the Fulani fighting for land or whatever. It's also making it so bogus. Although the governor tried as much as well to manage it, but it's also used as a political wing. That's why I see that in the last month when he was saying that, when they were asking why did you pay workers salary, he said if workers will go, he doesn't want workers to go drunk on Christmas Day. And people are asking, upon all the money that you are getting, is that the kind of thing you're supposed to be? Even though we have acknowledged that he has done so well in terms of security, but on that aspect of taking care of the welfare of these people, he has not done much. That's the governor that was giving motorcycle to each village head to do what? Those are the issues that in that aspect of him that people were not too happy about it. But we just hope that
using it as an example like that. So generally, he said we are still on Buhari's issue. President Muhammad Buhari. Would you say how would you rate him as if because one of the especially would have used the indices that's to rate himself as his performance almost 8 years in office because another paper Daily Trust did a story on that when he flew with the story that he has achieved more than he met
On ground.
what he met on ground, more than his predecessors, and Daily Trust came up with the report that no, with all the indices, he said, no, Mr. President, with all these indices, you did
exactly, because
so in your own view, what will you say to that?
Because one, killing is,
but the diseases are there, and they seem to leave it out and say, no, we've done well, we have done our best, and
their concentration is on the northeast, especially in Borno. The Lake Chad axis, that's what they are looking as their own achievement. That if they have not done that, after how many local government there was.
But Northeast is still at war now. We see Zamfara, we see what is happening in Zamfara, we see what is happening almost on a daily basis, even in the same Borno and Yobe. So why would the president
even if you have the opportunity to interview the president on this seat, he will tell you that how was Borno State in 2012, 2013, 2014? When he made it. That is the yardstick they are using.
You are so right. I agree with you. That is the yardstick they are using, because I was actually watching television live when he visited Imo State. I've never forgotten it. And during his remark, he said no, that he's surprised. I was like, no, Mr. President. Now I was watching him. He said that he's surprised that before they came, that some states in the northeast were in the hands of some local governments. Were in the hands of but since he came, nothing like that. That he's so surprised nobody's talking about it. So that is why I'm saying it now. I just posted that laugh.
Exactly. So that's the yardstick they are using. I agree with what you're saying. They are saying, okay, we have done so. I agree with what you're saying. I mean, for me, it's not just that alone. They have spent so much for the military and other security apparatus. But if you are saying what is the scorecard, after 100, I can give him 15, because as we speak today, killing is still taking place. As we speak today, kidnapping is taking place. Because, and as I earlier said, I say those set of Boko Haram have transformed into minor microsomes groups.
And that gave rise to other mindless killings, like ritual killings.
Exactly.
We used to have ritual killings, but not as high
as it is today.
Because hunger and lawlessness. People feel they can do it and get away with it.
Exactly. And it's not just in those areas, even within cities.
That's what I'm saying.
It's happening all around.
Everywhere.
So we just hope
that killings.
And the reason why the president is taking all this credit for himself is that how much are those state governors doing? Apart from Borno State, what is Zamfara state government? They politicized insecurity in the state. The one in Gobe, they all politicized it. Bauchi also. Bauchi that was a little bit very peaceful. All of a sudden, the community will just wake up and they'll be burning houses. It was not like that in Bauchi State before. So even although just own will come and go, you take the replica of the Kaduna incident that normally happens. And they politicize also killings. So I just hope that the state governors can come in one accord and tackle security in their areas, and not just leaving it for the federal government to do.
But the issue of security, is a centralized thing.
But they have something to do. We are on this platform. We have
just talked about you also, right?
They have a role to play, and that role is very, very strategic to their own life and property, not just for the citizen alone.
Not just politicizing everything. Because our politicians or our governors, they tend to politicize everything. They do buck passing to the president. Oh, it's the president. Oh, it's the federal government. Whereas they forget that they have their own role to play.
Exactly.
Well, we have the last paper for our review this morning, and it's the Guardian. Guardian newspaper. Guardian says Naira redesign policy comes under pressure. Naira redesign policy comes under pressure. 27% of Lagosians yet to cite new banknotes, including yours sincerely. Customers seek 6 months extension of January 31st deadline. CBN under pressure to extend old notes that is a mouthful. Demonetization. First one, subject implementation to evaluation adjustment. Bankers making breeze business over lapses as VIPs mop up available volume. That was my thought yesterday when I had a guest. No, on Monday when I had a guest in the studio. Yusuf insists rigid implementation unnecessary. Let me take that once again. 27% of Lagosians yet to cite new banknotes, and like I said earlier, including yours sincerely. Customers seek 6 months extension of January 31st deadline. CBN under pressure to extend old notes demonetization. First one, subject to implementation to evaluation adjustments. Bankers making breeze business over lapses as VIPs mop up available volume. Yusuf insists rigid implementation unnecessary.
I think this is very sensitive
But
issue.
there's need actually to increase
To extend
the deadline.
although on other platforms that I've spoken about,
You've seen the new Naira note.
I've seen it, I've spent it, I've used it.
Oh, really? Lucky you. I haven't.
The issue is that when it came out,
You still go to the bank or they give you
they give
you
the reason
notes.
they still being used drastic measures against it. Was not all banks. There are some banks that are still giving the new one to send to some particular individual. That's why the report was saying VIPs are taking advantage of
and that was
things.
what I also said. I also made mention when I had the guest in the studio Monday. I said it seems like they could have mopped up this new
They did. That's what they did. The moment CBN came up with that policy, the bank owners are friends to these guys.
Exactly.
The way they deal with the dollars. Yes, now that's what they deal with it. So the moment they just say, guys, they push it to them. And that's what really, that's why you have few words. And that's why before Christmas, CBN came up with a policy that all banks must make sure that they fill their ATM with 200 naira new one. Then if you go to the ATM, you'll be seeing the 200 naira, but you'll see the old 1,000 naira.
It's still old notes, but since a week or 2 weeks now, they don't dispense. The ATM is not dispensing. That is a Zenith Bank.
Zenith Bank had issue. They have big issues, especially on the online banking sector. So now what really happens is that when the CBN came up with that policy that don't give the new note to people over the counter, put it in your ATM, then the bank now started putting the 200 naira. Then later CBN gave them another instruction that now don't give anybody the new note again. Give them the old ones. That's what is happening now. It is the old one because
why did they recount?
Because they recount in the sense that people they now discover that the big men in our society have gone to the banks through their connection with the owners, the managers. They are now taking it and keeping it. The same thing that CBN is trying to avoid, it has started. Now people are now saying that National Assembly say extend it to June. People are saying no, extend it to June. But people like us, and it's okay because of this particular thing. Can you have it maybe March after the whole election?
It's for those that have extra money. I don't have it.
But the issue is this: the point CBN is trying to make is that why they are still standing on that 31st is this: by 31st, if you go to by 1st of February, if you go to the bank, it is the new note
that you are going to get.
You will not get the old one
as
again.
it is, so one has to be very careful not to withdraw old notes and have so many.
And I know the good thing is that like the strategy me have adopted is that every day if I have a new note, I'll make sure that if I cannot spend it all, just look for the nearest POS and transfer it.
Okay.
That is strategy I'm doing. So that it will not catch up. Old note. Just if it is 2,000 that is left, just okay, I'll be able to transfer this. So that let it because the target of CBN, let every money
because they are not ready to budge.
Let every money be in your account. So that on the 1st of February, on the 2nd, if you want a new note, yes. And if you are doing any dealing with anybody, let me transfer to your account. Simple. That's the target of CBN. But we just hope that they can follow this strictly because it has a goal. Although most of us are not seeing the immediate goal of the gains of this particular policy until.
But what everybody's wondering is that why the haste?
There's no haste there. When I think I've discussed this on this platform.
The CBN governor is on his 2 times now.
Yes, and he's not even around that because of health issues. Health issues. That's
issues or EFCC or DSS. DSS.
They say high blood pressure rise up now. I don't want him to die in their custody, so they have to release him. And they go to the presidency to seek for health leave, and he's not around. But the key thing is this: it wasn't just a Nigerian CBN thing; it is a global thing. Other countries have started taking.
Like I just mentioned, why the rush? Why the haste? Why must it be? Oh, we must do it this time. Nigeria must be cashless this time.
It's not me. Cashless
but
policy
that's why I said
been,
it's in the second tenure.
Yes, cashless policy has been since 2013. Because it was this same, and we don't want it. Let it not come. They allow Lamido to just say, okay, Lagos started, and Lagos started it. Then they took it to Kano. Then they took it to Port Harcourt. When they're about bringing it to Abuja, they rose against it, and it did what? And that thing also affects his tenure of seeking it. So for Emefiele, even though people are saying that okay, it is politicization, you want to use it to punish people that did not allow him to go and contest, whatever. For me, it is just not that way. Rather, we are going global. What is happening in Nigeria today? If you travel abroad now, you don't use cash. Most times it's transfer. All these politicians, Atiku and the rest of them, they are in UK now. What are they spending their money? I PDP member that follow Atiku to even the campaign that Tinubu is doing around. Do you think they are carrying cash? They're not carrying cash. They are doing transfer. Even Peter Obi, all of them are not carrying cash because they know that carrying cash is it. And one among them can video it and put it as a means of damaging their, so they will be doing transfer. So why won't the ordinary people also get involved in this kind of, and it has advantage, although we may not be seeing it at this point in time. That's what I see in it.
Okay. Thank you so much. Any last word before we go? No problem.
It's for the election. We should all prepare, go and pick your PVC and be prepared to vote. That is just
To vote, so that next 4 years you will come have cause to complain that, oh, we have this president that is not doing this, that is not doing that. Thank you so much for your presence today.
all right. Thank you for having me.
It's always a pleasure to have you. I look forward to seeing you same time next week.
Thank you so much.
Well, viewers, this is where we call it a day. Don't forget, same time, same station is another date. I remember Winifred Global. See you.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 08036886158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.